Hey, what's going on, guys? It is me, Kelvin, aka Sending Flag On, and I will be doing an overview of my Week 1 match in the TCL Season 8 against my opponent, Zelfie. Yeah, I'm actually uploading. Crazy. I didn't just upload the draft video and then dip. So, I'm personally excited because I just feel like I brought a lot of cool tech to the match. Not only that, but I'm actually uploading something that isn't just like a draft overview. So I'm excited to get into this. If you didn't see the draft overview, somewhere on my channel. If you want to watch it, go for it. If not, eh. So yeah, but doing a quick overview of Zelfie's team. He has Melmetal, Slowbro, Blissey, Cinderace, Galarian, Moltres, Regidrago, Runerigus, Inteleon, Venusaur, and Cutiefly. Now, first thing that stands out to me is Melmetal, Slowbro, Blissey. That is an insane core that is extremely hard to break. And while I wouldn't say the rest of his team is as strong or complements the core super well, it's still a very solid team after that. Cinderace, even without Libero, because not running Libero in this league. Blaze Cinderace, still really good, still has a lot of utility, and is still just very threatening in general. Galarian Moltres is always threatening, especially with Double Dance, hate that thing. Regidrago, if you don't have a good Steel or Fairy type, is very scary, whether that be DD, Choice Specs, or Choice Scarf. Runerigus is just really bulky and a reliable rocker. Inteleon is a really nice special attacking water type. Sorry, I brain farted. That can also run stuff like Focus Energy, Snipe Shot stuff, which can be cool. Venusaur is just always very reliable in draft, especially if your opponent is running Sun. And then he has Cutiefly, which, hey, if you have 1 point left, Cutiefly isn't the worst thing to spend your point on. At least you have webs. I think this thing learns webs. I am pretty sure this thing learns webs. Anyways, so that's Zelfie's team. Pretty threatening if you ask me, but I feel like I brought a lot of good tech to counteract all of his threats. So yeah, let's just get into this. So, first one I brought. Just gonna do a quick overview of my team, and then we'll get into the replay. First one I brought. This was no-brainer. Nidoking, Life Orb, Sheer Force, Superpower, Earth Power, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Max Special Attack, 216 Speed, and 40 Attack. 40 Attack is enough to 2-hit KO Blissey with Superpower 100% of the time. First Superpower does 60 min, and then the second Superpower does 40 min. So it's always a 2-hit KO, so you can't just soft-boil that up. And the rest of his attacks just kind of destroy his team. When you look at Nidoking, he genuinely doesn't have a switch in. Because look at this. Melmetal, Earth Power, Slowbro, Thunderbolt, Blissey, Superpower, Cinderace, Earth Power, Galarian Moltres, Ice Beam, or Thunderbolt, either one. Regidrago, Ice Beam, Runerigus, Ice Beam, Inteleon, Thunderbolt, but it doesn't like switching into anything anyways. Venusaur, Ice Beam, and Cutiefly exists. So I wasn't scared of this thing walling me, or my Nidoking, because it just wouldn't. Of course it fucking wouldn't, Cutiefly. But yeah, Hasty Nature to outspeed. What did I speed creep this for? I think it was Regidrago? Something like that. I forget. I spread crept it for something. I don't remember, but speed is there for a reason. So yeah, just overall very threatening. No-brainer Nidoking just breaks through most of his team if he doesn't prepare for it well. And even if he does, then he's still screwed. So, next up we got Comfy, Leftovers Triage, Dazzling Gleam, Giga Drain, U-Turn, Defog, Max HP, Max Spadef, 4 Calm Nature, 4 in Speed, Calm Nature. So the reason why I brought such an odd Comfy set this week is two main reasons. A, Regidrago exists, but B, and the bigger reason, is Galarian Moltres. I hate this thing. Preparing for this was so tough because I was so scared of Agility Nasty Plot. Just Double Dance and just breaking through my team. It was so scary, and just prepping for that was even scarier. So not only Dazzling Gleam doing a lot of damage, helping with that, but also if he wants to just switch into Melmetal, oh, there's a replay. If he wants to switch into Melmetal, I can just U-turn out into safe switch in. Well, safe switch in quotation marks. Try and pivot out with U-turn into something that can attempt to switch into it. And other than that, it was just there for stuff like Slowbro, since I didn't have a great Slowbro switch in. Regidrago obviously just walls it. brought it for Inteleon. I don't remember if Inteleon 2-hit KOs it with Snipe Shot. I don't think. It was either that or it was a roll. But I brought it for that since Priority Giga Drain meant it could never reliably beat Comfy in a 1v1. So Comfy was mainly just as like a stopgap to his main threats like Regidrago, Galarian, Moltres, and Inteleon. Just a stopgap to those threats and a nice pivot into something like Slowbro and just keeping up momentum with U-turn. So yeah, that's Comfy. Next up we got Entei, Choice Band, Pressure, Extreme Speed, Sacred Fire, Crunch, Stone Edge, 132 HP, 200 attack, and 176 speed with a Jolly Nature. I put enough speed to outspeed Moltres, I believe. Yeah, Moltres. Because Moltres hits 95 or something. So, yeah, and then I just put like a bunch into HP. I put 404 into HP. I forgot why. I just wanted this thing to be bulky. And then the rest into attack. He doesn't have good switch-ins to this thing. Best switch-in he has is Slowbro, and I can just crunch that. Obviously, I have to read that, but if I do make that read, then he's in a pretty bad position. And the rest of his team just doesn't appreciate it. It has coverage for pretty much everything. And other than that, it's just good. Extreme Speed Priority is really nice when he has such big threats like Inteleon, Galarian, Moltres, Cinderace. And having something that can switch into Melmetal once, while it doesn't switch into Earthquake, it can at least switch into Double Iron Bash. It's very useful. And Entei just does Choice Banded Entei things. Next up we got... Sorry, that was really sudden. I don't care about your tournament. Next up we got Zeraora, Life Orb with Plasma Fist, Knockoff, Close Combat, and Fire Punch, 252 attack, 204 speed, 52 HP, and an Adamant Nature. This thing genuinely just cleans his team. If he is not careful with this thing, it blows through his team, especially if he doesn't have a Scarfer like Inteleon or something. It's crazy how this thing just obliterates everything with a little bit of chip. For example, if Hydreigons is chipped a little bit, knock off range. If Cinderace is chipped just a tiny bit, then Plasma Fist range. Melmetal, if chipped in range, close combat. So this thing was ultimately gonna be my late game cleaner. But it could also be used as a breaker if I wanted to use some of my other threats as a late game cleaner. This thing overall, this match, just looks fantastic, and he has practically nothing to deal with it. So, no-brainer, Zeraora. Next up, we got Bronzong. No item, Levitate, Body Press, Stealth Rock, Toxic Iron Defense, 252 HP, 240 Defense, and 16 Speed, Bold Nature. So, you're probably asking, why are you running itemless Bronzong? Answer, Hydreigons. So, I was kind of panicking in the midst of team building because I realized, oh, hey, I don't deal with Hydreigons well. And you're probably asking, well, don't you have a Keldeo? And A, that doesn't switch in, and B, I'll discuss the Keldeo set later because it's very interesting. So I was just like, man, I don't have a good switch in, and I really don't want to bring Moltres this match. So I thought, what's the best solution? I'll just make a switch in. So I just brought itemless Bronzong to switch into Poltergeist. Poltergeist, not Poltergeist. Poltergeist is a Pokemon. I brought itemless Bronzong to switch into Poltergeist. And yeah, it just walls it. Even if it has Will-O-Wisp, it can still just Toxic Stall. And then Stealth Rock just feels nice this match. If Galarian Moltres isn't running Boots, then that's massive. And just chipping stuff down is really nice, especially for stuff like Zeraora and Keldeo, as you'll see later on. And then Body Press, Iron Defense, just two complement each other really well. Hits stuff pretty hard once I get the Iron Defense off. And while Melmetal does learn Darkest Lariat, the problem with that is if I get that Iron Defense up first, then I'm doing a lot of damage. And this 16 speed is actually enough to outspeed min speed Melmetal or 4 speed Melmetal. So that's why I put 16 speed. So I could always outspeed Melmetal and I could always get a Body Press off, which is very important for Chip. So yeah, that's Bronzong. And then finally, start of the show, we brought Keldeo. Life Orb, Justified, Sword Dance, Aqua Jet, Close Combat Mega Horn, 252 attack, 252 speed for Spadef, and an Adamant Nature. Now you're probably asking, Why did you bring SD Keldeo? What is wrong with you? The answer, it auto wins. So that doesn't auto win, but God, is it good. So after an SD with some slight chip on Slowbro, it wins. And same with Venusaur, with some chip on Venusaur too. With chip on those two, it literally just wins. I'm not exaggerating. +2 close combat kills every kind of Melmetal except if it's max HP, max defense, Impish. With Slowbro's max HP, max defense, after rocks damage, it just dies to Mega Horn. Blissey obviously dies. I brought Aqua Jet to Speed Blitz Cinderace. Moltres just dies to a close combat for some reason. I think even if it's max HP, it still dies for some reason. Same with Regidrago. Runerigus is, which the reason why I explained earlier that I didn't have a good way to deal with Runerigus is because obviously Aqua Jet ain't doing much to Runerigus. But once it got set up to KO with Aqua Jet, as long as it isn't max defense. But Runerigus wasn't going to be a big problem in the late game, at least I believed. Inteleon, I could live a hit, I'm pretty sure, and just close combat, though I was hoping my plan for that was just to be like dealing with it earlier on in the game and just leaving Keldeo for the late game. Venusaur, some chip, Mega Horn takes care of that, even if it's max defense. Not talking about Cutiefly. So that's the team I brought. I brought some really nice heat, and I think overall it's a really strong team against his. So let's just get into the replay, right? Let's just get into it. So he brought a team of Cinderace, Melmetal. Let me switch sides. Cinderace, Melmetal, Slowbro, Galarian Moltres, Runerigus, Venusaur. Now, I was kind of expecting him not to bring Blissey. I thought that was a possibility. But I was surprised with no Regidrago, and I was also relieved. I was also relieved with no Inteleon. Like, those were just like the biggest threats in my head. So with those out of the way, it just allows my threats to, you know, just pop off. So looking at this, I was just like, what do I want to lead? And I honestly forgot what I was going to lead. I think I led Nidoking just because it leads off well against most of his threats. And yeah, let's just get right into the game. So let's go normal speed. So really nice lead for me. The only scary thing was if he was Assault Vest, then he could just knock me out with Earthquake. But I was willing to take that risk. Was I? I think I switched. I'm not sure. So let's see what I did here. Yeah, I stayed here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I stayed in here. So Thunderbolt's free here, but he pivots into Runerigus, which is really nice. I didn't want to stay in and Ice Beam because obviously this thing lived, and if it got an Earthquake off on me, that would be bad. So I just went into my dedicated switch into this thing, Bronzong. But then he pivots into Slowbro. I'm fine with this because I get to set up my rocks. He teleports. He goes into Cinderace. I'm completely fine with this because I have Entei as a nice switch in with all that HP investment. He misses Powerball, which sucks for him because he can't scout damage. But it's good for me because that means he only has 6 Powerballs left. And the more I switch into Cinderace with Entei, the less PP his moves have, which is really nice. So I predict the switch with Crunch because I literally had nothing to lose here. He wasn't going to stay in against an Entei. And I just felt like Crunch was very free here. He was either going Runerigus or Slowbro. And I predicted it, and I went for the Crunch. And so I doubled, predicting him to go into either Galarian Moltres or Melmetal. And he ended up pivoting into Venusaur, which was I wasn't expecting, but I was honestly fine with this because it meant a free-ass Ice Beam coming his way. Did 72%, really nice, but unfortunately he put me to sleep. But I was honestly okay with him putting me to sleep. And the reason why is with the team he brought, I realized I didn't need Nidoking. I just needed Chip on some of his key threats for my other threats to go in. And fortunately enough, he gave me Chip on Venusaur, which allowed stuff like Keldeo and Zera to pop off. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let this thing stay in because I don't need to. And so I switched into Keldeo. I did this predicting a switch into a double into like Melmetal, but he didn't. Instead, he stayed in Leaf Seed. This could have been really bad if he like Giga Drained or something. Fortunately, he didn't. And then I just go into Entei because I was really weirded out. He misses Leaf Storm on my Entei, which again I feel like doesn't matter much, but you know it's nice to drain that PP. And, entei just doesn't get hit. So I Sacred Fire here. I miss. That's Karma. He Sludge Bombs, only does 33%, and honestly doesn't do that much, and thankfully doesn't poison. So I go for Sacred Fire here. I knew he'd probably switch into Slowbro, but I was hoping for a burn, but it doesn't happen. I switch into Comfy because it's my reliable Slowbro switch in. He teleports, which is an obvious play, and then goes into Melmetal. So I U-turn out here into Bronzong, which he double Iron Bashes here, which reveals himself to be Scarf. I body press here just because I want some chip, and then he double Iron Bashes again, and I'm just like, this is completely fine. I will trade this for chip on Melmetal because I need this thing chipped down for my threats to win late game. So he goes into Runergis, and I'm just like, wait, this is the best thing ever. He doesn't know I'm itemless. So I go for the Toxic. He goes for his own rocks, which makes sense, and he's just like, oh, I can kill this with Poltergeist. I Iron Defense here, and yup, that is the magic of Bronzong, baby. It actually worked, and I was very, very happy at the time. And so I was just like, okay, he isn't going to switch in to Melmetal. There's just no way. So I'm going to cover for one of his other switch-ins and Toxic, because he isn't going to switch into Cinderace in case I body press. Same with Galarian Moltres, but if he really wants to, then yeah, I just have this. And looking at his Venusaur set, getting more chip on it with body press would be really nice. So I just kept on Toxicking because it's the best thing I could do. And then I think it's here where he switches out into Slowbro, which makes sense. And yep, I get a Toxic off on that thing, which is really good. I don't need Bronzong anymore. I just want chip to set up for my late game threats. And as Bronzong goes down, a threat comes in, and Zera comes in, and look at how chipped down his team is right now. And look at how Zeraora just wins. So, Runergis saw that coming, knocked off, because knockoff killed Slowbro as well. So got that. One goes down. So he sends in Venusaur, not expecting me to have coverage. Got that Fire Punch. Venusaur goes down next. So he goes into Melmetal next, expecting to live a hit. But I have Close Combat. Kills that thing. 3 kills straight in a row. And he has pretty much, he could do nothing about it. So next, he goes into Cinderace. I'm predicting Sucker Punch. And so I go into Nidoking. He goes for Sucker Punch. I'm sacking this thing pretty much because I don't need it. And at worst, if he is bulk up, then what I can do is I can fish for wake up turns. And he doesn't want to risk that if he is actually bulk up. So I just sack this thing. He's on headbutts. He's on headbutts into U-turns. I was surprised U-turn killed, but it is what it is. So he goes Slowbro here. I took my time with this turn, but eventually I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go into Zeraora. I can just claim a kill, and then late game, I have Entei or Keldeo to just clean up the Galarian Moltres and Cinderace. Cinderace was going to be scary no matter what, but as long as I kept Keldeo healthy, then it could always just revenge kill it. So he sacks his Galarian Moltres to a Plasma Fist. I was completely fine with this. He goes into Cinderace, and I realized something on this turn. I don't die to Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is like 31 to 35 or 36, so it was either like a big-ass roll in my favor, or it just didn't kill outright. So I was just like, I lose nothing here. Once I do this, I basically win the game. Plasma Fist does 88% min. Really nice chip. He's in a Headbutts trying to predict something. I don't know. Keldeo probably. And now I'm going to go into Keldeo. Now he's going to switch into Slowbro. I'm not going to predict anything because I don't need to. I'm going to Aqua Jet here because it's the safest play. Now he doesn't expect the Mega Horn coming, and it all depends on what he does here. If he Psychics or if he's Future Sight. Fortunately enough for me though, I miss. And I was just like, oh my god, if I lose the game to that, I'm going to be so mad. I mean, I was confident I wasn't going to lose to that because I had Comfy in the back, but I was still so salty about that. Fortunately enough, though, he is Future Sight. So it allows me to Mega Horn again. He can't do much except for Teleport. Goes into Cinderace, and then doubles back out into, what's-its-face, Slowbro. Now, the reason why I switched into Comfy here is because I was honestly fine with stacking this thing and keeping Keldeo healthy for the late game clean was the most important thing in my mind. So I was just like, you know what? I can just sack this thing to Cinderace. But fortunately enough, this double actually worked out. I ate the Future Sight. Yummy. And what I did here was Giga Drained, because Giga Drain into whatever the hell killed Cinderace, so I wasn't worried at all. And getting chip off on this thing was really nice. He yawns, he's yawned, but it's too late because Toxic kills him. And then he goes Cinderace. I just sack this thing because I really don't need it. And then I let Keldeo get the last kill with Aqua Jet, and that is GG to my boy Zelfie. Really, really nice match. And I am so glad that most of my tech ended up working. For example, just even though I didn't get to use stuff like Superpower Nidoking, just itemless Bronzong and physical Keldeo just pulling through, and then the All-Star being Zero Aura. It was so good. It was so good, and I was so happy that I won my first week, because it seemed like it was going to be a pretty hard match, and it honestly was. But I felt like I was in control for the entire match. It was in my element, and I just felt like he couldn't do much, and everything was in my favor. So I was really happy about that, and I'm really happy overall that I got my win here at week 1, because I was worried that I was going to underperform because I haven't done draft in a while. But looks like I still got it, though my next week match looks terrible against who is it? Greed. Yeah, this matchup just looks terrible. But I'm going to do my best, and I have a lot of confidence that I'll not only be able to make playoffs, but that I can possibly win, especially after my showing here. And I think as the weeks go by, I'm going to get more and more comfortable with my team. So yeah, that's week 1. We won. Let's go. Great. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm hoping this isn't too long, but it probably is considering it's me. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more, then if you want to subscribe. If not, then you do you. I don't care. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I said that again. Jesus. Hope you all have an amazing day, afternoon, or night, whatever time zone you're living in. And yeah, I will see you guys later. Peace.